In a previous video uploaded, January 2025, I revealed to you information from a source who suggested to me that the key men of this age committed to the correct sequence of signs and actions to put those of us witnessing on the Golden Age timeline, one timeline of many in a holographic multiverse. In an update video, I described this as the type of magic carpet wad. This mysterious anon has come out with another message, which I'll share with you. But before that, I'll read you this by Kevin Bass. I was reposted 3 times in 12 hours by Elon yesterday. That was cool. I truly believe he is the most important man alive today, and possibly one of the top 10, even a top 5 in history. So that's pretty weird, man. And I agree, Elon may indeed be one of the top 5 men in history currently. So in the message I received, it appears my source has resigned to the observation that there are powers that be who will continue to reign in this world. Elon Musk will send craft to Mars, but there will be initial failures. And these failures will continue throughout even the planned human Mars trips from 2029 through 2031. The year 2029 is the line in the sand for all of humanity. Is this a branch point where major timelines diverge? That I don't know. I'm told at a certain point Elon Musk will be made unavailable, whatever that means. But also that's important that this trip to Mars be allowed to continue, specifically with the goal of putting mankind on the planet, however difficult and tenuous that may be.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Alex. And you know, I mean, you want to start off with Happy New Year, right? Happy New Year as we end 2025 and we go into a very, very historic period of time, because it'll die out, or it'll be quashed, or somebody will pick it up and go, we're going to take it into, you know, an investigation or whatever. I mean, I wrote down basically 3 pages, and this is a laundry list of things that have happened since the 2016 period of time. And there's actually over 80 things that have happened that's on that particular list. And that ranges from, you know, Russiagate, Crossfire Hurricane, the Clinton email scandal, Benghazi, 2020 election irregularities, you know, with the rigged 2020 election, January 6th, right? The prosecutions and the detainment treatment that we know occurred, the COVID origins, cover-up, gain of function funding. I'm just going to list a few of them as I go through this, just so people have an idea of some of the things that, and why I put this letter out to Trump the other day about accountability. You know, the Hunter Biden laptop suppression, 51 intelligence officials that signed a letter prior to the 2020 election, you know, and what happened to them? They lost their clearances. Give me a break. You know, the Biden classified documents scandal. Remember, we found a whole bunch of classified documents in Biden's garage and up in, I think it was the University of Pennsylvania. Vaccine mandates, the summer 2020 riots, not just what we just learned in Minnesota, but Minnesota was also at the leading edge of the summer of 2020. I call it the summer of love, the summer of 2020, where they killed a bunch of police officers and they destroyed billions of dollars of just businesses and other parts. We've had the student loan bailout, the Afghanistan withdrawal. I do know that Pete Hegseth has directed a report to be due to him here probably within the next 90 days for the Afghanistan withdrawal that left Americans behind enemy lines while we retreated, and as well as, you know, $80 to $100 billion worth of equipment. Ukraine corruption. I mean, we just saw Trump with Zelensky the other day, and we now have the admitting of Zelensky's team, or former members of his team, trying to target basically what they're describing as a command and control site inside of Russia. The planning of that, or the execution of that, was probably ongoing while Zelensky was standing at the podium with Trump, and Trump's talking about peace, and Zelensky's planning to start, World War III? I mean, the CCP land purchases. I've been talking about the Chinese government and the threat that the CCP has presented to the United States of America for 25 years. And you're right, and I appreciate you saying that. Years and years ago when I was on your show, I talked about how the CCP is going to continue on, and they've actually executed their unrestricted warfare to a T. You know, and also this business about allowing more Chinese students into U.S. universities. These are not students that are learning about democracy, Mr. President, and I'm talking to President Trump. These are students that are there on a mission to collect and gather intelligence and take it back, to collect and gather intellectual property, to work inside of our labs, to work inside of our businesses, and to basically do reconnaissance and surveillance of key sites and other activities that our government does. we've been allowing up to 500,000 Chinese students since back in the Biden era, the Clinton-Gore era. So, I mean, it's just been unbelievable. That's just some of the things, and never mind because I'm going to get into some things that I do believe Trump needs to do, and I lay out some of that in that letter that I put out to President Trump basically at the end of this year to say, okay, we appreciate everything that you're doing. We will stand with you through thick and thin, as I stated in the letter. Like we are not summer soldiers, and I'm not about making America great again. I'm about saving America at this point, because we are going to find, and particularly the Minnesota thing, Nick Shirley, God, help Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley is a modern day Paul Revere. Nick Shirley is like a Thomas Paine. He is out there and he's saying to people, hey, look at what I'm finding. And he's doing it with an iPhone and this other great patriot that's with him, this gentleman that's with him. And he's basically a Paul Revere saying, hey, the enemy's coming, the enemy's coming. In fact, they're here, and look at what they're doing. And now we know that this is not just in Minnesota. We know it's in Maine, Ohio, Illinois, Washington State, probably Oregon. We definitely know it's in California. I'm hearing that it's in places like Texas. So we're talking about billions and billions and billions of dollars. And now we're going to go into our 250th anniversary. Yes, we need to celebrate our country. We need to celebrate this coming year. But we also need to make sure that people are held accountable, because Mr. Trump, if they are not held accountable, and trust me, Mr. Trump, President Trump, they were going to put you in jail. Had you lost this last election in November of 2024, the 26th of November was your sentencing date. They were going to throw your rear end in jail. Believe me.
You were 5 times more concerned than I've ever heard you. You gave me a lot of shocking intel, some of it I was aware of, about what's going on in the Trump administration. And so I want people to understand there's real urgency here. And I didn't want to go the places you brought up unless you wanted to go there. But I just
I'm going to touch on those.
And we're going to get into Patrick Byrne points, how the CIA is giving Trump bad advice on Venezuela, of course. DOJ versus EAC on Smartmatic, huge developments there. Berry County Sheriff information, how that all ties together. And this video of what's going on with the voting machines. And then, wow, the corporate media is not going to tell us this. We have to recognize it ourselves. 370-something thousand fake ballots in Georgia, just like Trump said, or worse than he said. 200-something thousand illegals voting in Maricopa County, confirmed just like we said 5 years ago. All that's coming out. A lot more of the task force is coming out next month. I'm told just like a week. So there's a lot of good with Trump as well. But I know, Byrne, before you get to all this, you want to speak to what you heard Flynn talking about. We have confirmed, and he didn't say the names, but I mean, we're talking right under the president, directing PR firms, law firms, private investigation groups, putting a bounty out on Flynn, a bounty out on other people like me. I already knew that. And Flynn was blown away when I saw stuff I knew.
What am I, Wood?
Yeah. So all of this, they are making a big move. They're building up towards something. So huge stuff. Patrick, great to have you here. First off, what you heard Flynn say, where the country is, where the republic is. Let's do that 35,000-foot view and the ongoing civil war inside the Trump administration.
General Flynn's absolutely right. Of course, there shouldn't be such a task force. The first thing to know is the president did authorize that task force in April, when they finally got around to interviewing all these Venezuelan defectors. You would have thought that would have been January 21st. I can tell you now it was about April 5th to 10th, somewhere in there. By about April 20th, the president signed in order to create just the task force that General Flynn is describing. This multi-dimensional fusion cell, this and that. Nothing happened. May, June.
And that's because Todd Blanche sits on top of the 3 task forces, the main one, Ed Martin.
And the CIA won't approve this, won't approve that. People don't get moved. The right people, the personnel don't get moved. Not a dollar of funding had come in until finally, to be honest. So Flynn even quietly alluded to it if you go back to the transcript. But I think there are things happening. It took a lot longer than it should have. And it's too narrow. It's just on the legal aspects of this. You need a fusion cell being run by somebody, I hate to sound like an intellectual snob, but you need somebody who knows the difference between a Trotskyite and a Maoist, and knows like it's got national security aspects, it's got
you need
legal
a
aspects.
Renaissance man that has wide spectrum, full spectrum analysis.
How about General Michael Flynn? But I can tell you the CIA sent 2 names over to Susie Wiles, Michael Flynn and Patrick Byrne. That have to be completely deep six. I have so much. Listen,
Well, you just said it, and then instead, Susie Wiles opened up an operation against you guys.
Oh, I'm sure I'm part of it. However, you know,
I just went ahead and said it. You know, she's running it. Yeah.
Would have shocked me if it was anything else. What's so painful to me is this is not a theory. This is now 10 years old for me. 10 years ago, Thanksgiving 2015, I was taken aside and asked to set up this Hillary Clinton bribe, for which I had learned by early February was just a means to blackmail her. So I knew from basically this time 10 years ago that there is within our federal government an agency, an entity, or something who is trying to take over the United States in a coup. Not a theory. I was part of it. You would have thought that I would have been high on the DOJ's list to talk to as soon as we got back in. Not a single person is allowed to speak to me from the DOJ. Ed Martin.
So we're in a situation where it appears there's just too much corruption. On Truth Social, Donald Trump posted this cryptic tweet. It states windmills are killing all of our beautiful bald eagles. It shows the cutoff date of 9/11. It shows a type of falcon that's definitely not a bald eagle. It shows the number 13, which is important in Freemasonry. Tonight, search reveals the photo to be of Israeli origin. A community note shows that the photo in the post reveals a dead falcon, likely a kestrel, not a bald eagle, taken at a wind farm in Israel on 9/11/2017. Hebrew text is visible on the turbine. Here are comments Trump has previously made on 9/11.
Well, nobody's gotten to the bottom of 9/11, unfortunately, and they should have, as to the maniacs that did that horrible thing to our city, to our country, to the world. So nobody's really been there.
Does he know the true maniacs responsible? It was recently revealed that Donald Trump pardoned a man responsible for a $1.2 billion nursing home fraud scheme. Per Max Blumenthal, Philip Esformes was the king of Medicare fraud, but he was also an arch-Zio Shabbat cultist who relied on Alan Dershowitz and the lawyer who secured a pardon of Jared Kushner's father for clemency from Trump. Donald Trump was found saying this while standing not far from Bibi Netanyahu.
Well, I'm not concerned about anything that Israel's doing. I'm concerned about what other people are doing or maybe aren't doing. But I'm not concerned. They've lived up to the plan. They're strong, they're solid, and sometimes they don't understand when somebody violates something that you want to give them a second chance. Well, we'll give them a couple of second chances. But no, Israel's lived up to the plan 100%.
President?
He's a wartime prime minister who's a hero. How do you not give a pardon? You know, I think it's a very hard thing not to do it. I spoke to the president, and he tells me it's on its way.
Now let's read this post from Laura Loomer. I was at Mar-a-Lago last night, and tons of attendees were talking about how they were attending a private event with Netanyahu today in Florida, before President Trump's party tonight. There is no tension. It's literally all fake and made up by the media and Qatari-funded GOP pundits in an effort to sow chaos in America and create animosity towards Jays in the GOP. Trump gets along great with Netanyahu, and President Trump is firmly against all Jay hatred. He made this very clear at the White House Hanukkah party, which I attended. Trump is pro-Israel, and he is not an isolationist or a neo-in sympathizer, unlike some other people in the GOP. Trump invited Netanyahu to his New York Eve party. If he hated him, why would he do so? Netanyahu said he wanted to see fireworks and POTUS. Netanyahu literally changed his own travel plans to extend his trip. You don't do that if you have tension with someone. I can't wait to see the pics tonight, so all the haters' heads explode. Trump isn't taking this neo-in bait. He isn't a degenerate or a loser. Things are very strange in this reality.
Well, big catastrophe, and I'm Israeli, and I hope that now people understand what we have to deal with, the kind of people that we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis.
We've provided military assistance, further military assistance. We're announcing today further economic assistance for Ukraine. $2.5 billion worth of economic assistance that helps unlock financing from the IMF. from the World Bank, from the European Bank for Reconstruction.
Does 47 have various controls around him that ensures a focus on foreign policy rather than domestic issues? It's starting to appear that the foreign intel network around Jeffrey Epstein, working in tandem with intel agencies domestically, are creating the blackmail scenarios and keeping America's focus away from all those issues General Flynn had mentioned.
So I'm going to shoot straight. The perception between a lot of young people is that there is an untouchable ring of governmental and economic elites in this country that not only benefit, like she mentioned, but actively participate in sex trafficking. Jeffrey Epstein was an example. Robert Kraft was arrested not far from here on trafficking charges. And so we, in terms of this as a grassroots movement to push to combat against this issue, are these power players a priority for us right now? Can we even touch them? Or is this a pipe dream that we need to address in the future somehow?
It's like everything. It hides in plain sight. Epstein was hiding in plain sight. We all knew about him. We all knew what he was doing. But we had no one that was, legal aspect that would go after him. They were afraid of him. For whatever reason, they were afraid of him. All of a sudden, someone said, BS. We're not afraid of you anymore, and what you're doing is not only wrong, it's illegal, it's, all those things. It's like a house of cards now. It's going to start tumbling, believe me. And these guys, if they don't leave the country, number one, they're going to get caught, and not only will they get caught, but they're going to be made examples of.
People are skeptical as the power is very deeply entrenched. Instead, people are worried that Trump is bullied.
And these people do like Israel.
Hold on. And he loves Israel too.
It's true. 2 seconds.
It'll be nice to get down to the bottom of these guys, but it appears for year 2026, election integrity is going to be the key issue. There may be just too many monsters to clean us up cleanly. Hopefully 2026 will be the year of massively increased awareness of the situation. The interlocking associations that use fear to prevent those that do good from speaking the truth when needed. At the core of the problem we face in civil society may indeed be the spoiled child, the miserable, unsatisfied, demanding, ill-disciplined, despotic, and useless individual. And without church programs, and perhaps the use of medicinals like ayahuasca, the task to change all these minds just may be too great for our civilization.
Turning on Israel, then America deserves what's going to happen to them for it.
It'll be worse for America than Israel.
It will, because Israel will just move on to India and other countries, and America will fall.
Not just that, the sleeper cells.
America will fall, and that's what they want. I mean, that is what they want, is that the constitutional republic of the United States for America will fall. But I think Trump sees that. America has to be independent of the British Empire too. Mm-hmm. And I think that's Israel's independence too, that we're all separated from that. Yeah. And we're all separated from that.